Hello and welcome to the Yogscast. Today we're looking at some Guild Wars 2 footage from the beta weekend, latest beta weekend. This was actually when me and Simon were playing with Total Biscuit and his sort of cameraman Frank. And you can actually see Total Biscuit's content on his channel. I'll put a link in the description below and an annotation here and also at the end of the video. These guys, they showed us some amazing stuff. So you're playing Cup of Char there.
Yeah, that's me. Cup of char, like a cup of tea. And Kersham as well. Kersham, can't forget. He was the guy who wanted to show us some cool things in the game.
He's got all the infos. So this is a frog here, and it turns you into a pig.
It sort of vomits this gas over you.
Yep.
And it turns you into a little pig.
Now...
so that's Cup of Char there, the pig.
Isn't he lovely? So this is a sort of quest. It's one of these heart quests. So basically, he wants us to snuffle for truffles and collect him some. This is ridiculous.
What do you mean? What do you mean? It's ridiculous.
We're in like a cave in the middle of nowhere. We were just wandering around, and we got tipped off about this. So I'm now a pig. Look, I've got run, porky sprint.
Little waddle.
Now, these fellas here, these Ettins, actually count towards the quest. And
tough.
The pigs only have one ability, which is this bite. They don't have an auto attack or anything like that, so you have to spam the bite. But it does about 2,000 damage.
We all got flattened there.
We all got squashed.
Tenderized.
But yeah, so the idea is to sniff around and find the truffles. Now, I didn't really know what I was doing, right? I just started sort of pressing buttons at random. I was snuffling for truffles, but what you're actually supposed to use, you're supposed to use the first ability, which is sniff, to uncover the truffles, and then go down those holes, and then truffles will come out. So I've picked up a truffle now.
Well, I mean...
and been set on fire.
I can understand that you're a little bit sort of bewildered. I mean, you're suddenly a pig. You weren't expecting this. You know, it must be very confusing.
So I'm actually holding the truffle there in my trotter. You might be able to see that. Not in my mouth. I'm actually holding it in my front paw.
I don't know how you're managing that. You don't have any prehensile...
But I've got it right there.
Or anything.
And you have to bring them back to this frog. But what you can do is you could eat them, and it gives you a brief sort of might and speed bonus that can help you kill these things. So instead of eating it straight away, you could just use it to buff you temporarily, and then...
I can't believe just how realistic the pig models are. I mean, look at them. They're amazing.
They've hired a guy,
like real pig.
who... There is a guy whose job it is to just do pigs at NCSoft. Yeah,
really?
Yeah. I met him.
Wow. Did you? What was his name?
Porkins.
Jet Porkins.
So this went on for quite a while.
Pig administrator.
By the way. So I think I may have cut out quite a bit of
Pig Wrangler.
Chief Pig Wrangler. So we were under attack
Chief
from
Pig
Ettins.
That implies that there's more than one Pig Wrangler, and he's the chief of the other ones.
Yeah. Or he's the wrangler of the chief pigs.
Oh. So you're saying there's like a hierarchy of pigs?
Yeah, like the chief pigs, he wrangles those. Okay, we're getting confused.
Hooray!
So we did it. We saved
strange
this area.
Strange frog man and a strange quest.
And you can buy loads of weird frog-based items, mostly underwater type stuff.
Mm-hmm. Truffly things and
a truffle.
Oh! It turns you into a pig.
Yeah. Frank said he was going to troll Total Biscuit by turning into a pig in the middle of a really inopportune moment of a dungeon.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing if he did that. Yeah.
Like on the end boss of like a hardcore mode when he's at like 5% or something, and Frank just turns into a pig and starts snuffling.
Pig mode,
truffles.
activate!
So yeah, I think that's a one-time use. I'm not sure. I guess it might be.
I think it is, yeah. It's a consumable.
So this is a big sort of lock in one of the highland areas.
Oh god, yeah.
Quite a little bit north of where we were. And Kersham told us that there was like some really epic boss down here, so we were like, sure, let's go down. So I summoned all my pets, because half of your skills don't actually work underwater. You'll notice that my fiery hounds of Balthazar is greyed out.
Well, yeah, that makes sense, because they're like made of fire.
A couple of my pets are greyed out underwater and won't summon, like the worm won't summon and stuff like this. So I summoned them before I went in, and they were okay. Necromancer pets just stick around forever until you sort of sacrifice them.
I had trouble because I was playing an engineer, and I had the skill that turned my weapon into a flamethrower, and I couldn't use that underwater.
Ah.
But that makes sense, doesn't it?
Well, some things do change into sort of underwater equivalent. So, like lightning, the mage's lightning line changes into a kind of more sensible underwater line, because it wouldn't really make sense to cast lightning magic underwater. And the fire one changes into some sort of underwatery thing too, which is quite interesting. So they might well do that for flamethrowers, since it's a popular choice amongst engineers. They may add a sort of underwater variant of it.
But it doesn't make sense. You shouldn't be able to use a flamethrower underwater. So
well, you can't. So maybe they won't
I
change.
kind of agree that you can't work it. It makes perfect sense, because it would be stupid if you could. I mean, it's an inconvenience that you can't, but it would just be stupid, wouldn't it?
So I've got my...
Make no sense.
I've got my trident equipped. I've also got a spear. I'm just trying to figure out why my elite skill's not working.
Oh.
I've got a trident equipped, which is sort of the ranged necromancer weapon, and the main attack actually just causes me to like spawn piranhas at my target, and they make everything bleed. Which proved quite difficult in a later quest, because it meant that I didn't really have an underwater ranged attack, which kind of was a bit of a problem. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
So we saw there on the map the new event that started is the Blood Witch.
That's right.
And I was like, Blood Witch? Oh my god, that sounds amazing. Blood Witch. I mean, this is spooky and weird. And then we started swimming down here, right? And suddenly I felt kind of claustrophobic and weird.
Yeah.
Because the graphics are fairly realistic, right? They're quite beautiful. Everything's well detailed. And it was like, I was actually underwater, and it was like the weight of water down on me. It was all dark, murky down there. And I started to not quite enjoy playing, because it was just all of it too much. Is that weird? Is that a bit weird? That it had that effect on me.
Well, it's very overwhelming with the graphics, and moving around in 3 dimensions is quite awkward. We can't really see what we're fighting a lot of the time. I mean, as you can see here, it's a little bit kind of hard to see. And it doesn't help that I have about 10 pets on the go either, kind of getting in the way of everything. So we're actually going into an underground cave, underwater underground cave here, with no way out.
It's underwater and underground.
Yeah. So it's enclosed. It's all underwater. There's no air, there's no surface. Maybe that's why you were feeling claustrophobic. It's sort of understandable.
Oh god, just talking about it and watching this back. Oh my god.
So was your elixir gun working okay underwater? Or were you using like...
Yeah, that worked fine. Because I had like this horrible, noxious, poisonous gas that I fired, which you just missed then because you looked at the map. And it sort of has it looks a bit like a spray, like a green sort of spray comes out instead of the gas. So the animation's different, and that's kind of cool. It's nice that they changed the animations and the effects of your skills when you're underwater. Because it wouldn't make sense to have just gas come out because you're underwater.
No. So this here is the Blood Witch. Only level 23 champion, which meant, in fact, it was a relatively easy fight. A lot of the time, one time I was sort of level 7, or I was de-leveled. I was scaled down to level 7, and I was fighting level 10s and 11 mobs. So they were quite a lot harder than me. But she wasn't really scaled down very well. So this is something which is obviously just being balanced. Quite an interesting sort of snake model. Didn't really be able to see it very clearly through all the animations, but again they're working on that.
Yeah.
So there you go, man. That was a pretty good underwater sort of event chain that sort of led us into this really dark, dingy cave of horrible stuff. And we got a lot of XP and karma out of it. It was pretty good, man. I had a good time down here.
Oh. I still don't. I don't like underwater.
You don't like it.
Oh. I don't even like taking a bath, Lewis.
Well, that's why I make you.
You hose me down in the backyard with a broom. You know, it's like washing an elephant at the zoo.
I just toss a bag of peanuts on the floor.
It keeps me busy, keeps me out of trouble.